Hello, this is Dr. Kaapjoo Park, the Executive Director of Business Development Team in the ENZYCHEM Lifesciences Corporation. It is my honor today to introduce our company, and thank you very much for your time and the opportunity to give this IR presentation. ENZYCHEM Lifesciences was established in 1999 and listed in the Kosdaq in February 2018, and recently the market capitalization was reached to almost $1 billion in US dollar. At our company, about 120 employees are working in both South Korea and the United States. We have 3 R&D research institutes and 2 GMP certified manufacturing plants in Jecheon. The third CGMP manufacturing plant is planning to be constructed in Osong Biopolis soon. Total 228 patents are vividly ongoing, as well as global phase 2 clinical trials are in progress to target 4 indications, including COVID-19, chemoradiation therapy-induced oral mucositis, chemotherapy-induced neutropenia, and acute radiation syndrome. Our board of directors is committed to successful new drug development based on the strong leadership and expertise. It has been 21 years that ENZYCHEM Lifesciences was managed by CEO Mr. Ki-young-son and the Vice CEO Ms. Hae-kyung Kim through their excellent leadership. We have selected the best key opinion leaders and the scientific advisory board for each indication. And all our committee members are working very hard for the global new drug development of EC18 at the top front line. Our ENZYCHEM's main business units consist of 3 big parts and growing as a global biopharmaceutical company. Firstly, we are mainly focused on global new drug development, indicating these listed indications such as COVID-19, chemoradiation therapy-induced oral mucositis, and chemotherapy-induced neutropenia, and acute radiation syndrome, and non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, and immunocheckpoint inhibitor combination therapy, and other inflammatory disease, and are expecting to have a $85 billion market potential. We have developed a functional health food called Rapid Immune, and it has been commercialized since 2014. The main ingredient of the Rapid is the fully synthesized PLAG molecule, which is originated from Zika deer antlers, and the safety of PLAG molecules has been proved through this Rapid product, and this Rapid product is available at the hospitals and the pharmacies and the general market through online mall. Okay, the EC18 is the other name is called PLAG, and its generic name is called mosdipimod. Is a safe, orally available, lipid-based, first-in-class small molecule for global new drug candidate. And each soft gel capsule contains 500 milligrams of PLAG for daily administration. It has a very unique mechanism of action called PRR, endocytic trafficking accelerator, which is also called PERA. This mechanism cannot be found in any other existing drugs. So based on this unique mechanism of action of EC18, we have many ongoing phase 2 clinical trials for COVID-19, CRIUM, CIN, and ARS. We have a very excellent drug safety profile based on the non-clinical and the clinical studies. About the EC18's capability, we have published 25 peer-reviewed articles through our research work in the liver, lung, skin, tumor, and joint with the EC18. So as you can see, there are many inflammatory response is occurred in several areas in the body. So we can apply for all this information to the other disease, and we can cure that disease by using our unique mechanism of action of EC18. Okay, this slide shows the EC18 pipelines at ENZYCHEM. So you have several pipelines as listed in here in the table, and we divided by three main categories. First one is for pandemic. With a great support and effort, we obtained the FDA IND approval in August and in May, so in Korea and the US. So the two phase 2 clinical trials are currently ongoing to target the COVID-19 infection. And secondly, for about the anti-cancer, anti-inflammation, you are working on various inflammatory diseases such as Crohn, CIN, and NASH, and developing anti-cancer combination therapy with the immune checkpoint inhibitor. So, Crohn project, we already obtained fast track designation, and the phase 2 clinical trials are ongoing. And also, we are currently working on the phase 2 clinical trial of CIN too. Thirdly, cosmic ray radiation therapies. This EC18 was selected as the orphan drug designation for ARS therapeutic, and we have many ongoing projects with US government agencies, including the phase 2 animal rule study, because you cannot test their radiation therapy in the human directly. Okay, from now on, I would like to talk about our several indications with the EC18 a little bit more details. The first indication is to target the currently ongoing COVID-19 pandemic situation. Okay, so as soon as the WHO declared the pandemic, which is very serious situation in the world on the COVID-19 outbreak, and ENZYCHEM recognized the world's serious situation and very quickly moved to get approval for the phase 2 clinical trials from both South Korea and the US. And this slide shows that the clinical protocols in South Korea and the USA, they are very similar protocols. And currently, we are actively ongoing these clinical trials in both countries. Okay, so this slide shows that the clinical program timeline for the COVID-19. We already secured the IP, intellectual property, for COVID-19 therapeutic, and the top line data from the South Korea and the US will be available early next year. And hopefully you can get a good result, and you can combine these two data, then later you can apply for the emergency use authorization to USA. And during the ongoing clinical trials, we continuously seek the licensing opportunities with the global big pharmaceutical companies, and we'll run phase 3 clinical trials next year. Our next pipeline is to develop the therapeutic for the Crohn, which is also known as chemoradiation-induced oral mucositis. Crohn occurs as a very serious side effect to the cancer patient who received chemotherapy and the radiation therapy. As you can see in the picture, the mouth of a chemoradiation therapy patient is seriously inflamed. These patients are seriously and severely suffered by pain, and they cannot eat and talk at all. In worst case, the patient even stopped the chemotherapy, and this would be the case of the very worsening in their cancer progression. EC18 has the Crohn treatment efficacy through unique MOA, is called PARA, modulating neutrophil infiltration and inflammatory cytokines. Currently, we have an ongoing phase 2 clinical trial for Crohn in the United States, and we are expecting to have the top-line data available at the early next year. In these upcoming milestones for Crohn, the phase 2 clinical trial and its top-line data readout will be available first quarter early next year. And this is about great timing to have a discussion with the global multinational licensing partners. Our next target is the oncology market. And you are developing immune checkpoint inhibitor combination therapy with EC18. Although the immune checkpoint inhibitor is very popular and very effective for many cancer patients, but this therapy has a limitation of a low response rate and a durable resistance that becomes no longer working in the certain patient. So what our molecule EC18 can do at this point is that EC18 makes a tumor microenvironment unfavorable for tumor growth, which means this EC18 destroys the cancer-friendly environment and interferes the growth of cancer cells. EC18 enables to inhibit the neutrophil recruitment to the tumor microenvironment. So combination therapy with the immune checkpoint inhibitors and EC18 enhanced cytotoxic T cell anti-tumor immunity and then contributed to the increased overall survival. Therefore, we strongly believe that the synergistic effect of EC18 can be a good partner for immunotherapy in the oncology field. And we have many supportive non-clinical data to prove this aspect from this synergistic effect in the animal studies. Next, I would like to talk about the non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, also known as NASH. So NASH is the liver disease. So there are the fibrosis, which is induced by inflammation, and this effect is eventually caused by the lots of fat existing in the liver. So the fibrosis and the pro-inflammation is the key determinant of this progression of the NASH. And you are targeting to the global NASH market because there are no currently available drug for NASH. The NASH market is continuously increasing up to 39.4% compound annual growth rate. So NASH is a metabolic disease which is leading liver damage due to the hyperinflammation, and many diabetes and obese patients also have a NASH disease. So, but it is known that NASH is a very complicated disease which was caused by multiple targets such as adipose tissue, skeletal muscle tissue, and gut, and immune cells, and many in liver. So our EC18 actually working on these various tissues to resolve the inflammation very quickly, then return to normal homeostasis very quickly. So this our EC18 is strongly considered the most suitable therapeutic agent for NASH. Okay, next indication is the CIN, which is called chemotherapy-induced neutropenia. Okay, currently we are conducting phase 2 clinical study of CIN, and this is slowly planned to start very soon. And by applying this first-in-class unique mechanism of action, EC18 could maintain normal concentration of neutrophils in the blood of chemotherapy cancer patient. So this EC18 can be a very good potential drug for the CIN. Lastly, another indication is that mechanism of action of our EC18 can be fit most suitable in the ARS, so which is called also acute radiation syndrome. And we have several number of programs granted from US government and collaborating with excellent academic and research organization in US. Now I will wrap it up today's presentation of ENZYCHEM Lifesciences. EC18 has an excellent safety and efficacy profile and very much potential to be a good new drug candidate for total 6 indications, as I explained: COVID-19, chemoradiation therapy-induced oral mucositis, and chemotherapy-induced neutropenia, and non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, and acute radiation syndrome. And we have robust 2 GMP certified manufacturing plant, and you can produce APIs and the controlled agent and the functional health food that possess stable financial positions and continue to research and new drug development. Currently, there are 2 COVID-19 phase 2 clinical trials ongoing in both South Korea and the US. And the top line readout for phase 2 Korean study is expected first quarter next year. So we are currently seeking the potential licensing opportunities upon completion of a phase 2 study for Korean and the CIN as well. We are expanding our indications and conducting clinical studies for immune checkpoint inhibitor combination therapy and non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. Lastly, we have many collaborations with the US government agencies for acute radiation syndrome program and the NASA space program. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I hope to see you again for discussion more further details of our company and our pipelines. Thank you.